Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 213th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by PWSA's number one fanboy, Jaden.
Howdy.
Howdy. And, of course, PTA's number one fanboy, John Cena, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Elmo's also joining us there in the background for the first time. That's exciting.
Yeah. He's always happy. He's good.
Yeah. No one, I don't know, I shouldn't say this because now people are going to try and find it. But when I was like 12, I want to say, like an old YouTube channel I had, I made YouTube videos where I performed wrestling moves on an Elmo doll. So go.
I think I've seen one.
If anyone can find those and send them to me, I'd appreciate that. That'd be pretty sick, to be honest with you.
They're not on your old YouTube channel that was like, we had the Instagram associated with it?
Yeah, the Zach for PM thing or whatever.
Probably.
Yeah.
It would have been around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever the first, Zach Finn YouTube channel was, whatever that was. Yeah. Anyways, it just made me nostalgic seeing Elmo back there, I want to hit an RKO on him so bad right now. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. This week, the movie we're reviewing is Panic Room, which opened in the US on March 29th, 2002. It was directed by David Fincher. It is a thriller, and the synopsis says, a divorced woman and her diabetic daughter take refuge in their newly purchased house's safe room when three men break in searching for a missing fortune. Excellent. Fitzy. Panic Room. 9th David Fincher film on the show. Huge for us. What did you think of this one? And I don't think any of us had seen it, which is also
No, I hadn't seen any of this film. No clips or anything.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, it was pretty good. I think it was like pretty much like it pretty much met my expectations, I guess. Like, especially with like how Fincher it felt like it was like mostly Fincher with a bit of just like solid 2000s, thriller kind of directing going on. And yeah, it was just really solid for that, for like, the thriller aspects, the kind of, some of the like choices were pretty cool, like the silent slow-mo scenes and that kind of thing. So I think like, the directing shone through a little bit there, but overall it was just like, as a tension piece, as a kind of fun thriller thing, it succeeded in its very 2000s way. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've said I've seen the ending of this film before, like literally the last 5 minutes, but I didn't really remember. I remembered it all wrong. Watching it this time, that the final shot of Forrest Whitaker like trying to climb the fence and then him like the cops coming out and pointing their guns at him. That visual. Once I saw it, I'm like, oh, I have seen that visual before. But other than that, I didn't remember any details or like who Forrest played or anything like that. But yeah, this is a really good movie that does a lot of stuff really well. Yeah, like I loved all the Fincherisms and analyzing and comparing his filmography, which we like to do. But I don't know, this film at the same time, I didn't love it. It never reached that next level where it fully clicked for me on a personal level. But it was still a super neat movie. Easy watch for sure. It just, I don't know. It's not like I guess in Fincher's filmography, it's probably mid to low, but it was still really cool though. Jaden, what do you think?
I was really surprised by it, like off the bat, because I don't know why, but in my head, I just kind of had it in my mind that this was just gonna be like some kind of like middle of the road kind of like thriller from the 2000s, like I don't know, something like in the vein of like Firewall, I think, or like what's the other one? Is that the other one, Paul Bettany? I don't know. But I was expecting something kind of like that. But then like as soon as the title started, I was kind of reminded that, oh no, I am watching a Fincher film. I am watching someone who's great at his work actually work. And I think like I think that persisted throughout. Like it's all pretty dated, like from the title sequence to like some of the other things with the film. But I really like like his use of like the camera and like the slow zoom ins into the CGI kind of things,
Yes,
and like the
absolutely.
hyper focus on like on details. And the performances are great in it, and I think like the use of the location is all really awesome. Like I should have been expecting it, but like I just wasn't at all. So I was very pleased with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Did it enter your mind at all when we were getting the house tour at the start? They're like, oh, here we go. This is highly, highly motivated here to take us carefully through the layout of this environment that we're probably going to spend the next 2 hours in.
The movie started so soon as well, is the other thing
Right.
with it. Like less than 20 minutes in, and we're into like the conundrum.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, they did not muck around. This film, like outside of it being the 9th film we've done on the show of Fincher's, this is a moment for me because I have now 100%ed David Fincher. I've seen all this shit. I've even seen the goddamn, obviously, Mindhunter and his Love, Death and Robots episode.
But
Is
have
there
you
like
seen that
anything
one
else?
music thing that he did?
Nah, fuck, music doesn't count. I don't count that shit. Commercials and music videos, and even short
it's not a music
films.
video though. It's like a full length thing,
What?
isn't it?
Oh god! But like what, a documentary or something?
Rick Springfield, this thing.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it going to be like
of
a
live drums on the ice?
Is it going to be some like
thing? I don't know.
Is it going to be
Let's see
some like
documentary.
live concert experience bullshit?
It might be that and like half like documentary footage or something like that is what I was thinking it would be.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. Yeah, no, that doesn't count. I don't care about that. I've seen
Have
all
you seen
these.
Voyeur?
What is that?
Like the Netflix special that he did, where like
Oh god.
it's like 6 short episodes about like I'm not sure how much he's in it, but like it's about people talking about like the films that raised them,
Voir.
Voir. Sorry, fuck.
Oh, so it's this documentary he did, interviews.
Yeah, he produced it. I don't
okay.
I'm thinking.
Oh, he produced it. No,
he might have created it as well, though.
It's too shady for me.
Yeah.
No, I think I've seen all these fictional work. Okay, I'm very pleased with this 100%. Wait, have you guys seen all these films now? What are you guys still missing?
Yeah, I haven't seen Love, Death and Robots, that thing, but
yeah.
All his features.
I'm missing Benji Button.
Benji Button, yeah, we got to do that. Yeah.
What an awful one to end on.
Oh man, we'll do it. Don't worry. Okay. No, that's cool. I was thinking about this and about the cast and everything in this film. Who is for having now 100% in David Fincher, and I've done this for few directors, and you start to see some cast overlaps and shit like that. But who is a recurring Fincher actor? I feel like his casts are always notable, but they are always built from the ground up. Each movie, as far as I remember. It's pretty impressive. I don't think he really has crossover. Like, so Jared Leto's in Fight Club as well. That's it, I think.
Pitt's in Fight Club.
Pitt's the obvious one.
Oh,
but like,
Pitt, yeah.
That's two early
Benjamin
things,
Button.
He doesn't. I think he's worked with him since, has he?
Benjamin Button.
Well, there's 3, yeah.
Benjamin. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think that's okay. No, that's fair. So Brad Pitt is probably the most David Fincher actor that there is. And it's been a while for him as well. In real time right now.
Well, Bill Tench from Mindhunter was in Fight Club.
True.
So that spans longer.
True. Okay. Yeah, okay. That guy, what's that guy's name? Colt?
I always forget it, but he's because I try to remember it every time though.
Yeah. Iron Claw Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name. He's good. But okay, so he's like longest spanning Fincher guy. Brad Pitt's most recurring Fincher guy, I think. There's probably some like extra or something that's fucking more or something. I don't know. Okay, no, I just found that interesting because I was just like, every single time, like I'm always impressed by his cast. His films always have like at least 3 notable names in them. This one, no exception. This one has like 4 or more. So it was like, oh yeah, but none of these people have been in a Fincher film before. So it's just like interesting that happens every single time, At some point, I feel like you got to run out. His next film is there. Can you build a new cast again? That's impressive that you haven't worked with anyone again. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, we already talked a little bit about the Fincherisms, if you will, if we want to coin that. I don't really like it, but for lack of a better term, coming out in this film. What was the thing that most reminded you of Fincher, Jaden? You mentioned a couple right at the start with the CG shots and stuff, but there's a few different ways to go. What was sort of the standout for you?
Well, I think for one, this film bridged a gap in my understanding as to like Fincher's use of CG in his filmmaking, because like to me, like by the time he gets to Zodiac, right, he's using full like CGI blood and kind of like a whole like massive CGI kind of cityscapes to kind of thing, and like that never made sense to me as the kind of 90s director that I knew him as from that point. So like there was that gap between 2007, so this kind of bridges that gap to see him exploring like kind of CGI shots in the early 2000s and shit like that. So I'm like,
Yeah,
that helps me understand him as and CG as a Fincher thing.
yeah,
But also I don't know, like I think the way the camera moved at the start, like I think you had a very real chance for all the buildings to feel like stock footage. But I think there's like in combined with like Shaw's score, like if it immediately takes on like such a sinister tone, and like the way that it's all kind of framed and cropped, and that you never really see like it's always tight on a cityscape, which is kind of interesting, you know. I think there's like one long shot at the end of like to kind of help us establish, but like I don't know, you kind of tight from the start, you know, with the camera is probably is one of the things I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. That, I mean, just it's funny. I love the the Fincher doing these title sequences. How he always has one. I love it. This one's obviously significantly different. Most of them are significantly different from each other, but they always just have that commonality of you getting a cool Fincher, no matter what it is, whatever it is that fits the film. It's like you're getting a cool sequence, whatever it is, you know. Even like Social Networks, obviously, like you compare this and Social Network, there's like nothing, there's basically nothing similar about them. But other than it's like Fincher wants to make a cool title sequence that sets the tone of the film, I'm like always here for that, you know. And though, yeah, like you said, that Howard Shore strings coming in was really sick. I love that. Yeah, I don't know, there's a lot for sure. You already mentioned like the use of the CG. It's I don't know, just seeing how the camera. I still don't really know how they pull these shots off, to be honest, especially in 2002. Like the camera just doing these things that a camera can't do. You know, where like it was funny because you know that long shot they do where they come downstairs for the first time and like where Jared Leto and all the three dudes like start entering and they start knocking on the window and unpicking the lock and all that. That long shot that they do, when the camera first comes from up the stairs and then goes through it goes through first the stair rails.
That was the first thing I
Whatever you
noticed
call
too.
that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
balusters. Yeah,
The balusters. Thank you. Wow. It goes through the balusters, and I immediately noted it of like, oh, interesting. Obviously, a camera can't do that, so that was cool. But then obviously at that point, I didn't understand the shot was just going to keep going for ages and do like that was like the least of it, you know. Then it went through a fucking door lock, and then it went through a coffee mug, and so on and so forth. Up through the roof, of course, that happens many times in the film. So it was just funny how it sort of through that first shot. I thought that was just a great way to do it. It was a really cool, impressive long shot, and just sort of immediately immerses you in. Okay, well, this is how the camera's going to behave in this film. It's going to go through shit. It's going to fucking penetrate all kinds of surfaces in order to tell the story and give you a sense of space between the characters and all that kind of thing. So I thought that was cool, and it felt. I don't know if something about it just felt the most Fincher to me. I don't know. Have we seen him actually do that specifically before? Something about it felt very familiar, but
Fight Club kind of does that a little bit, like with the way like you zoom around and like zoom into places in the apartment before it blows up, before it like sets on fire in Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of get like the fuse and the back of all the cables at the back of the fridge and stuff, and you go inside a few things as well, a few appliances and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Also, like I think often like some of his themes in the films are quite perverse, and like this is just a camera acting kind of perverse and like kind of infiltrating everything, like you were saying, penetrating.
Yeah.
And like kind of really getting in there. So I think it kind of felt like that thematically.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it does feel like that. That's interesting. That was probably for me. That was like the most Fincher thing I think I noticed. That stood out right away. The other thing, like I know the elusive Fincher color grading conversation we have. I would still argue this film like it has Fincher colors,
Yeah. Well,
whatever that is.
like in general, I think like the Fincherisms are more present. Yeah, like at the start of the film, and especially in like the exposition, and like in the first scenes where we kind of like Jodie Foster, like she reviews the house, and they're at the house for the first time. The way it's like kind of darkly lit, and the conversations are very sparse. It does kind of have that Fincher feel to it. But like overall, I think the Fincherisms. I mean, Jaden, you said you felt that it was Fincher throughout, and I think I was like periodically reminded. But I think by the time we actually get in the panic room, when like the two robbers and Kristen are like in there together, it dies down like a little bit. So that was why I felt it was like mainly in like exposition, or like, you know, those transitional shots between the two different parties, I guess. That's where you get the kind of, you know, the insertions of all this cool CGI stuff, and, you know, the maneuvering through all the objects of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Something about when you bring the two parties together like you do when they're in the safe room together in that moment, it does sort of, I don't know the correct way to describe it. Yeah, it does. It changes obviously the dynamic of the film, and it's like, it's almost like like the distance and the sense of space that you're trying to establish the whole time previously is sort of just narratively broken or something, you know, like because they come together. It just changes the whole approach of the film, because you do. Yeah, I agree with that. There was that cool shot I took note of, where they had, it was like a split screen shot where they had Jared Leto like out, and then they were in the elevator.
Yeah, that was mad.
That brief one. Did you say that was mad?
Yeah.
Oh, you said that was bad. Sorry, but I was like, did he say that was bad? Yeah. No, I like that shot. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, if we're done talking about like that kind of stuff, like I think Jared Leto was very great in this film. He was just super entertaining, and I mean, everyone was really great, but Jared Leto especially, I think, was like pretty awesome.
I totally agree. Jared Leto, he's just, I don't know, he's just got charisma, man. There's nothing else really to say other than he's just entertaining to watch. He's in this, you know, interesting pickle situation, and he's kind of relatable at points and kind of an asshole at other points, but just generally very entertaining. I totally agree. I don't know. He kind of, I guess I'm just trying to figure out like why I cared about him, because I was bummed when he got shot.
Yeah.
You know, and he lied to them about how much money was in this. Like, there's like nothing you can look at that he did good, other than like the smallest moment of like, oh yeah, good for you, dude, was like when he he turned on Raoul in terms of like to die down how much gas to let in the safe room.
I mean, him doing something good was walking away, and that's when he gets shot.
Yeah, no, even that was kind of like, that was a bit of a pussy move, to be honest. I was kind of more with the other guys, you know. He sort of, to me, that only like, you'd think like him totally reversing his whole plan would like be also a reversal of character. It was actually the opposite for me, where it was like, oh, you're now even worse. Like at this point, I'm with Forrest. At this point, dude, you gotta keep going, you know.
Yeah, I think in general he was just super relatable, because he just had, like, compared to the other two, you know, he didn't have his emotions like in check at all, and the other two were just kind of these kind of cold people. So I think he was super fun in general. But I didn't initially like Raoul as a character, just because like it felt very like clever student film kind of vibes, where you have like this, you know, this kind of quiet character who is clearly gonna like kind of show up more later and do some wild shit. So, but I think like once he takes the mask off, it's like a bit more fun. Just in that like initial, you know, introduction to him, it was kind of, he put me off a little bit.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean by student film vibes? specifically?
Like it feels like a bit like this would be something in a good student film, but still a student film that would like kind of mimic kind of a Tarantino-ish character of like, you know, a
Okay.
tough kind of professional or whatever, or like with his little quippy lines, you know. It just I don't know.
Yeah.
It gave me that vibe.
It feels
There's
like
something-
it kind of feels
Sorry.
like he's trying to poke like not. Oh, hold on. It kind of feels like if it was a student film, it'd be like I can't describe what I want. I guess fuck it, forget about it. Yeah.
I was gonna say like even the way they like, oh, it's Raul. Who's Raul? Like the way they say his name and like they give him that extra like.
Yeah.
Like it actually, you comparing it to Tarantino, it felt very Pulp Fiction-y actually in terms of like, it's Raul, you know, like the way they sort of introed him and like referred to him was like, almost like he's this sort of like presence, you know.
Like it feels a
Can't even
little
explain.
self-aware, but that
Mm.
that just makes it more.
Right.
That just makes it feel more like a student film to me. But
Right.
anyway,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. It's kind of in the kind of self-awareness of it. It kind of feels like the director's having a bit of fun thinking that it's cleverer than what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Raul, yeah. The other burglars, yeah. Did we know that actor who played Raul?
No,
I feel like I've seen his face before, but
I think he had like one other credit, but I don't think I didn't like recognize him from it in terms of what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The other burglar, of course, is Lawrence Fishburne. Sorry, Fitzy. Who's great.
No,
in the film.
no. I said Lawrence Fishburne, dude. What do you mean?
Dude, no. Forrest Whitaker, he was probably my favorite performance in the movie. He was perfect as like that sympathetic burglar guy. You hang on. You described him as cold, Fitzy. I was a bit surprised by that, to be honest.
Oh no, like he was just more like focused, I guess, and more, you know, he's more composed, I guess.
Yes. Sorry, yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, but he was definitely a sympathetic character. He had his, you know, moral standing. I liked how, you know, he didn't want to hurt anyone, but that I was like, that could also, you know, admirable character trait, obviously, but at the same time, that could also become annoying, you know, if he starts like pussying out. You know what I mean? And like, but he mostly, you know, still was very helpful and was probably overall the person who contributed most to the plan almost succeeding. You know what I mean? So I was glad that, you know, he wasn't just like, oh, he's just going to stand there being annoying because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. You know, that's what I was worried about at first. But he contributed a great deal. And just something, I don't know, he's got that whole like thing going on where his eyes aren't symmetrical. You know what I'm talking about? Where he's sort of like got that in his face. I just find it, I find it very endearing. I don't know, like it's just, and specifically for this role, it just grounds him even more. And when he has to give Kristen Stewart the injection and things like that, it's just like, I don't know, just very hard not to like the guy. I was so bummed when he didn't escape at the end. That was the most notable part of the ending for me. I really wanted him to get out.
Yeah. No, I do wish they kind of did more with him in the ending. I thought they would like go back to him after everything kind of settled down. But yeah, he was pretty.
Yeah.
I like how he wasn't passive as well. That was good.
That would have been really cool if we got him like in prison and like how he feels about that. Because I understand like there has to be like for him going back right at the end and like killing Raul. Like that, I understand there has to be a consequence for that because like it'd be weird if like because he had his chance to escape and the whole thing is that he goes back. You can't go back and then make it out again. Like I understand that.
I thought the obvious thing would be like they would visit him in prison or something like that.
Right.
Or, like there would be some kind of silver lining, you know.
Yeah.
But no.
Unfortunately, I think it doesn't really give me any sense of that for him, unfortunately. Yeah, I was just a bit bummed about that, I guess. In terms of the main duo, I guess it was interesting to see Fincher tackle a mother-daughter relationship. I wasn't really expecting that. But is Kristen Stewart, is she better when she's younger?
I actually didn't think she was that great compared to some like I thought she was good, but like I had a feeling this might come up. Like I mean, like in terms of, like, you know, her performances later in life. but like I think she was about equal, or a bit.
Okay.
I don't think
She
she was
tracked.
necessarily better. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially like I haven't seen like some of her newer stuff, but like you've seen Spencer, haven't you, Liam? Which
Exactly.
makes
I've seen it too.
pretty good
Yeah.
in that, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, she's pretty great. Yeah.
No. She was good. Yeah. I don't mean
He just doesn't want to admit he's wrong, so
Yeah.
he's downplaying it.
No. I don't know. I guess it's probably just a symptom of us doing Twilight right now, where it's just sort of like that's the direct comparison point in my brain, and it's just like I thought she was better in this than Twilight. If I'm just doing that, you know what I mean. But maybe that's probably not fair to her overall ability. But yeah, no. Either way, like I thought she was good in the movie for sure. I was also glad she wasn't an annoying character. So she has that rebellious sort of teen edge to her at the start and stuff with the scooter and whatever. But like she also, I'm glad she wasn't just like she didn't. I'm glad it wasn't a thing where like she hates her mum, and then by the end of this situation brings them together or whatever. Like they still they have there's something going. There's some tension there for sure at the start, but then they're still like they're still cool. They still have pizza and shit. It's not like there's nothing too dramatic going on. I feel like I've gotten in this new habit when we watch these movies of like just noticing things it doesn't do that would annoy me and just praising it for not doing those things.
It felt pretty real. Like you can, like you might say that it didn't feel consistent or whatever, but like I think her just being with her mom in a normal environment, that's kind of it felt like she would act that way, just a bit like more personal and free, I guess. So yeah,
100%. And of course, then there's Nicole Kidman, who was injured, causing her to be replaced by Jodie Foster in this film.
Bullshit,
Fincher,
really?
Yeah, Fincher had suggested that the studio close the production and collect the insurance, but the studio decided to move forward before Foster was cast.
Wow.
So
that's a big upgrade. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah,
huge, dude. Like I'm not trying to even take that Nicole Kidman hate narrative that I take, but man,
yeah. I mean, Jodie Foster, like, come on.
Yeah, but like I mean, I can kind of envision it considering like because like I think The Others was a film that Kidman did around the time, so I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense with that in her filmography.
What is that film about?
It's kind of a quasi horror film with Kidman.
Okay.
And some kids.
I mean, Kidman would do a very good job in this film.
Yeah.
But like Jodie Foster's like, top tier actress out here. So
oh yeah.
And she was great.
She was great. Yeah, I'm glad. She was Kidman was injured doing Moulin Rouge. Because she just shot that. And then basically like they were 2 weeks into production. Like she was there shooting the movie and everything. And there was some limitations. She had to pull out because she just couldn't do everything because she was injured. And like I said, they were going to pull that. Well, Fincher was like, let's just not do it anymore. Forget it. So we got the movie. We got Jodie Foster. That was the best possible outcome, I reckon. Nicole Kidman, though, still played the voice of Stephen Altman's girlfriend on the phone.
Ah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty good. Another cameo, of course, was, I say of course, it wasn't obvious to me at all, but Andrew Kevin Walker, who was the screenwriter of Seven, he was the sleepy neighbor who they were trying to flush the light in his face. Good little,
Speaking of like... Oh, you go.
I was going to say, this is what you come to the show for, but clearly not.
Speaking of like all of our attempts to kind of, inform others of the situation, that was like just the most competent cop ever. Like, what was that? He freaking picked up on like zero signs, and then he came back later anyway with like the whole cavalry. It was like crazy.
I totally agree.
I imagine they came back later because I heard more bangs or something like that, and like he was like,
yeah,
I don't think it was his own volition. I imagine like they got another call again, so they're like, fuck it.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're probably right, but it felt soon. So I was like, maybe this guy just knew, and the fact that he like showed up with them, he still had that sense,
Yeah, he was. it almost took me out of the movie how persistent he was. You know, where it was like he asked like 4 times, and he said, "Ma'am, you can blink." And it's just like, all right, like he was, I don't know, his hunch was like his spidey senses were tingling like mad, obviously.
I don't know why she didn't say, because like they can't hear what she's saying. So like I don't know why she didn't just say, "Don't come in at all. There are 3 guys here, but you can't come in because they're going to kill my daughter." You know, we need to figure something out otherwise without you coming in. You know, like why couldn't she communicate with them properly? You know,
Yeah.
I think
fair.
it's just
I mean, it's a movie. You know, it has to build tension.
yeah. But like it might just be like a protocol thing that you have to kind of, you know, initiate like
Right.
negotiators and all that. So she just didn't want to risk it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose. But it did. Yeah, I wish. I know. Obviously, you know, she's worried about her daughter, but I wish there was something. The scene was so long and gave her so many chances. And as the audience, all we wanted to do is tell them. And I just sort of, it sort of didn't. I don't think it was quite the right dynamic that they want from the audience in that scene. I think that you want to make it definitely shorter and maybe give some other edge to it, where you're like you're rooting for Jodie to get the police away a little bit quicker or something. Just because the whole time I'm sitting there like, please warn them, like do something, you know. And I do understand her rationale, but at the same time, it's almost like I sort of was almost like I wasn't quite on the same page with her in the scene, which I don't
I mean,
think.
the easiest thing that they could have done to kind of add the tension, because like it's shown that like when they get locked in, she does communicate with them from the PA from the outside. So like they could have just been like, they could have put a PA near the door and just said, "Hold the button down while you speak to her," or something like that. You know, I mean, like kind of so the robbers can hear the conversation, so as to like ensure that.
Yeah. Did they just not think of that? Like they didn't think to smash the cameras.
Well, yeah, that's like I mean that's the thing. When something doesn't happen, it's because they don't think of it, which is fine. But
yeah.
it would have added like a nice amount of tension to that part, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not thinking of it's the best excuse. Like genuinely, the best play excuse you can have.
Yeah. Well, they're not supposed to be like super professional like robbers or anything. Like it seems like it's all their first time, and you know that Forrest Whitaker's heart isn't even really in it. So
yeah.
And the house is meant to be empty.
I
agree with Jared Leto on that, like in terms of like 3 weeks with business days as well. I mean, like, you know, these companies don't work weekends, man.
Yeah, I hate a point.
No, I disagreed with him. 3 weeks, and you just assume it's business days? Why would you do that?
Why would?
And then you count like how many business days would it? No, if you say you say if you're talking about business days, you specify the business days. If you're talking about weeks,
yeah. Well, he said 2. He said 2. Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. I wasn't with him
because he said
if I get told that my package is coming in 2 weeks from a business, you know, like I expect. Actually, I guess I expect 2 weeks from the day.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, well, if the person said to him it's 2 weeks, and you interpret that as 14 days, and then you use it as business days, that's a really weird logic. But if they said 14 days, then you could interpret it as business days.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they didn't say that. It sounds like they said 2 weeks, which is like 2 weeks is 2 weeks.
He overthought it. Yeah. While we're sort of in this realm, I was curious because I was overall pretty impressed with the script in terms of not feeling like there were any obvious stupid decisions or plot progression that was made, because I feel like that's an easy trap to fall into in these kind of films. But was there anything you guys noticed at all that was either like maybe that you thought was good, or anything that you thought, oh, I would have done that differently, it doesn't really make any sense, that was kind of weird? Anything like that at all?
I think Jodie Foster was a lot more resourceful than the average housewife. Let's be honest, in terms of fucking lighting the gas on fire and blowing up half the house.
Yeah, does she have any like backstory in terms of like other than just being the rich dude's housewife? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, no, but like I think that, and maybe if the script was like a bit tighter or whatever, this could have been illustrated better. But I think her being super competent and like being resourceful was like it was kind of a way to get her individuality back, I guess, after the divorce. Like you could see it that way, like and especially with the scene with the cops where she has to like kind of embarrass herself again. It's like she's constantly seeing things through the divorce and like reliving it, and it's like her being able to overcome this situation is kind of the key to getting her out of that mindset, I guess. But I don't think that was like super well done in the film, but it could have been really good.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's something there. It wasn't really. Yeah, I agree. That wasn't ever really a focus. It wasn't ever like we're going to give her a strong arc in that sense. But no, there's something there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think she starts off, in the bathtub crying, having a wine,
Right.
red wine. So it's like, that's the idea.
That's just Friday night activities.
Friday night activities, or the beginning of your, the lowest point in your character arc. Yeah. What was some of the most tense moments? Because we can like break down. There was a shit ton of stuff happening in this movie on basically all the time as it was going.
I think I think when they came down the stairs, like when Rahul and Berman came down the stairs and Stephen was sitting there with the gun, I really thought Stephen was going to shoot Forrest, and that would have devastated me. So like I think I was super tense there, like don't kill the wrong guy,
Yeah. I thought because Forrest put the bearer bonds in his jacket, I thought he would shoot him in the heart and like the bullet would go through the bearer bonds, and so the bearer bonds would be like, defunct now. They wouldn't be worth anything anymore.
Yeah,
that was my.
That is actually interesting. They didn't do anything with the bonds themselves. Like he got them, put them in the jacket, and that was it. Like I feel you could have played with that somehow. I don't know. Don't know what it would have been.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. Like at the end of the film, I was like, maybe he's going to bury them in the garden or something, and like tell, and right. He's going to like,
yeah. Like you can use them as a plot device in some other way afterwards. Yeah. I mean, my most tense moment for sure was when they were, bloody what's his face? What's Forrest's name? B something.
Burnham or Berman?
Berman. I don't know if Burnham. Oh,
is it
Lawrence Fishburne?
Is it Bo Burnham or Bo Berman? Because whatever it is, it's the opposite of that. I think
it's Bo Burnham.
So I think it's Berman in the film. I
Berman?
think.
Okay.
Or I can just have a look at the fucking letterbox.
True. Anyway, sorry. When he gets distracted and he starts walking down the stairs too, and then when Jodie decides to make the run for the phone, was probably my favorite in terms of then you get the no audio.
Yeah, the slow mo.
The slow mo, no audio. That was sick. And my favorite part about it, actually, to be honest, was like I've just as it was happening, and you start realizing, okay, this is what this is going to be. My first thought was they're going to like as soon as I don't know why I thought this, but I thought they'd be able to hear the door open because it didn't seem like they were that far away. So I thought, and then it's going to be like a race for the phone, and then they're going to be running back right away. So like when she ran for it, she started running for it, and then they didn't hear it. That actually improved the scene where it was like, I mean, her tipping over the lamp was a huge fuck up, obviously, but she was being a bit frantic there. But nonetheless, like it was then that tension that was added where it's like, oh, she's actually clear here for a minute, but she has to sprint back. There was just really cool slow mo. No audio was sweet. Loved it.
Yeah, and they had like a few scenes with the conversations between the three robbers, and like when Lawrence Fishburne was first when oh my god, dude. I said it earlier as well. I meant to say when Berman was Burnham. Oh my god, man. When Burnham was walking down the stairs, he started talking, like giving his pep talk or whatever. Like you kind of expected the camera to go back to him and to like continue with that kind of, just the dynamic that those three had. But then I think when you go straight into that, when you go straight into like Jodie Foster running for the phone, it's like it's cool how, it completely just fades out that conversation that we've kind of expected a little bit.
Yeah,
because it's like a recurring conversation that's happening. So, yeah, it was just very cool. And like them running up the stairs in the silent slow-mo, that was sick.
Okay, I was just going to quickly throw there. What the fuck is the point of a 911 call if they put you on hold right away?
Well, it's New York, so maybe they're just,
911, please hold. It's like, isn't that always like a contradictory, like, against your whole point of existing? thing I've ever heard.
Don't they like record everything as well? So like, surely they would have been able to.
Yeah,
Because did she,
say
I
something.
think she said something, so they would have been able to get that audio. Surely.
Right. There's got to be some solution like that. Like instead of please hold, like have it just like go to an answering machine that can be recorded, and then the next person can jump in. You know, whatever it is.
I don't know when it changed, but back because like you know when you call it, it's the number for all the emergencies. So it might have been like before like she even got through to the police. So that's why like it's like it might be like the dispatcher saying like, please hold while I try to contact, you know, one of these guys, the police or the ambulance or the fucking fire.
Yeah, but like maybe, but like you got to at least.
I don't know.
You got to possibly, but you got to at least start talking to me about what the fuck's going on, so then I can pass on a message, and or at least you know, you make some progress instead of just sitting around for like however long it is. Whether it's even if it's 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds wasted in this kind of a situation.
Have you ever had to make a 000 call?
Good question. No. No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
No, it sounds scary.
Oh yeah, what was Jared Leto's character? Was he a grandson of the person that died, or was he just a random guy? Because he said I put in the good hours, you know, taking care of him. But like, was he just a carer that got close to him, or was he like an actual like rancher that was trying?
He was a grandson. He was a grandson.
He was, yeah, trying to take the full fortune. Okay, right.
Yeah, he was already inheriting like 900K or something, which is crazy. Yeah, because that's like American money. Like that's a lot of money, and especially in like 2002.
And back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the start I thought he was because like he could, like when he was talking about like just putting in the hours, I just thought he was like a kind of fucking.
He said he's been a good grandson.
Okay.
Hours. Yeah,
I missed that. He deserves it, you know, if he put in the hours.
Yeah, but like he should have just taken the inheritance. There wasn't a need for the risk, I guess.
Yeah,
but no one else knew about it as a thing. Because didn't he say that?
But I feel like they had to because he
Because didn't he say that I did the hours, and that's when he told me about the safe or something like that?
Yeah, no, he did say that. He did say
that. So I guess that's why he wanted to steal it rather than inherit it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he knew it would be split between all the grandsons.
Oh, we sort of touched on. We brought it up a little bit earlier, but I do want to actually bring it up properly. The actual ending of the film, like the final, like you know, they're sitting on the park bench and stuff. Wasn't into it. Don't know. Wasn't quite what I was looking for. I know. I usually like it's sort of what we were talking about. The possibilities of like how they could have gone back to Forrest Whitaker or something. But I know I usually hate the happy endings where they take 10 minutes to wrap things up. I'm not saying I want that, but this film needs something. I don't know. Like it didn't have any moment of like release or catharsis at the end, or you know some sort of even like sort of more punctual sort of thing for a character. Instead, it was kind of like the night ended. You know, the police came. Okay, cool. Then you sort of expect some sort of stronger resolution, positive or negative, for at least one of the characters, and instead, it's kind of like what the moral of the story is that they should move again.
Well, it shows that they shouldn't be gluttonous. You know, it's like because Jodie says, "Why do we need all that space?" You know, it's like 2 rooms, perfect. You know, it's like they learned. You know,
I feel like that's like the least of the lessons you should learn from a night like that, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like goes almost goes without saying.
Well, like she refers to Poe earlier about like when buying the house about like getting the safe. What do you know like what specifically that was like referencing?
Yeah, well, I think it's like the popular Poe poem where it's like the guy stuck in the room, and there's like a blade that he can't see that's like constantly swinging. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like one of his popular poems.
Right. But like, could that tie into the end then about like escape?
I think that was just a reference to the room because the room was like, you know, it was like dodgy. Like she you know.
Okay. I thought it might be about like in preparing for the worst, you're inviting it or something like that. Kind of.
Oh, right, something thematic. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Were you guys satisfied? Like, do you agree with me? Were you satisfied?
Yeah. I think it was brief, but I think I was okay with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted something more. Yeah, I agree.
Originally, David Fincher planned to make the film in pitch darkness, but this proved too impractical. I'll say. That's interesting. David Fincher stated he wanted the film to look and feel as realistic as possible. This led to an increase in the film's budget and a longer than planned filming schedule. The apartment was built in Hull, and the panic room was built and modelled after real life panic rooms. They shot it in LA. So the real life set and action led to several minor injuries to the actors. And this film took 120 days to shoot.
That's long as fuck.
Long as fuck. And I also, so part of that was that Jodie Foster was pregnant, and she became so, like, because this kept going, the production, and she became so pregnant where they had to, like, take a break and they had to come back and reshoot stuff with her because, like, she was becoming too pregnant. So, maybe Fincher was there making this movie. It was going over budget, over schedule and stuff, and he's there thinking, man, I wish the studio had just taken the insurance money. No, I'm sure he doesn't regret it in the end because it was a cool movie, but yeah. Okay. Andy wrote in his review for Panic Room, he said, it keeps a fairly simple concept for a David Fincher project, nicely directed as you'd expect, but the premise is basic enough that Fincher's visual prowess only elevate the script so much. The film does have some intensity at times, but there are some cliche lulls along the way too. Like how there has to be that one morally considerate villain in the group, or the child needs to be saved, so the action needs to be paused for a bit. The first half, where we had the three robbers interact during the invasion, might be the goofiest thing I've seen from Fincher. I wished I liked Panic Room more because it is so competently made. It doesn't seem fair to call it mediocre for Fincher because this film does do what it should be expected of. It may not be as elegant as Wait Until Dark as a similar home invasion film, but Fincher still made this as tense as it wanted to be. I need more time to appreciate this with a greater value, though. 6 out of 10. Interesting. I didn't really, I don't know. I didn't see. I mean, are the child and the considerate villain? I guess they are sort of cliches, but
Well, so now that I kind of heard that, it did remind, like, as I was watching it, I was like, how Home Alone is this going to get, kind of.
okay.
And it kind of does dip into Home Alone territory from time to time in terms of goofiness, in terms of like her fighting back with like the gas full wine, and like kind of like some of like the other like kind of shit that happens.
Yeah.
And like Forrest even calls Raul Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's
But
funny.
like, I didn't think it was a bad thing, but I was like, this is getting a bit Home Alone at points.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I honestly, I didn't feel that as much. I didn't make the comparison once. It's funny, the Joe Pesci line, like I just sort of took that as like going rogue. Like, like Joe Pesci, like a Joe Pesci character. Like I didn't even think of Home Alone, but actually is probably, that's more specific, that's funnier. But yes, thank you, Andy. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. Let's get to our final verdicts for Panic Room. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll slap a 7 on it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely is like lower tier intro, but still a great film. I mean, good film in its own right.
Okay with your definitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll give it a 7 for sure. Really solid. Does a lot of really cool things. Just, lacking that connection, lacking that real, I don't know, lacking a bit of development, I think, in terms of the characters, and just something to have that extra punch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jaden.
A very high 7 from me. It's
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't really understand like how much I liked some of the technical shots in this. And they were very cool.
Yeah.
I think that kind of edges it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely should. It's a very cool movie, definitely. Let's get into news chat. So, Comic-Con happened. MCU is the main shit that we want to talk about. I mean, the main shit. I mean, yes, so they had their Hall H panel, like they often do, where they do their big shit. The main stuff, they had Captain America: Brave New World up there. John Carlo was out there. Harrison Ford was up there hulking out, which was pretty funny. So that's all cool. Fantastic Four got their subtitle. First steps, cool. Any I don't know, any further thoughts on the whole Fantastic Four thing? I don't know if we've talked about it. I don't know.
Well, so what was like
Are we into
revealed?
it?
Oh,
But there was
Nothing
a
really about.
trailer. Spooky was saying that like there was a trailer that like leaked as well on like phone footage. I didn't see it though. Did any of you see it?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay.
Nah, I saw like images, I guess, like Pedro Pascal
Okay.
and Vanessa Kirby together and stuff.
Mm.
But like
Oh,
nothing
like
that we haven't kind of already seen.
yeah, that's how I felt. So I think the subtitle was the main new thing, and yeah, they did show footage that I didn't see the leaked version of or anything. If it was Star Wars, I would have looked for it, but I don't care enough. Yeah, okay, no, that's all cool. The main shit, of course, is everything that's going on with the Avengers movies and Robert Downey Jr. So, first of all, before we get to Robert Downey Jr., the main thing here is that they had already announced a couple of years ago that it was going to be Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars back to back. I think originally, I don't think the dates are the same, or maybe I'm wrong about that. I thought it was 25, 26 was the original announcement for those, and now
Yeah, I
they're
think so.
pushed a year. Yeah, I think so. And now they're pushed a year, or maybe it was December and they're pushed 6 months. I don't know. There's I think there's a date move there, but anyway, the whole thing there is that with Jonathan Majors, they've basically pivoted to Doctor Doom instead of Kang. Is the gist of that. So, and of course that the Russos are back, which speaking of how much people are getting paid, not to spoil next week's question, but the Russos are getting 80 million to do these movies, these two movies. So good for them. They've obviously decided to go back to what works in more ways than one, and the other way is Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. I think that basically covers it. Jaden, what are your thoughts?
When I first saw that, I was completely fine with it. With RDJ coming back, because I just thought like he was playing a different character, like in the same universe, and then they're just casting an actor in a role, and I was like, that's Hollywood, that's the job. And I was like, that's fine, that's cool, even that he's getting another opportunity, whatever. But then I heard things that he's playing like a Tony Stark variant from another universe, that becomes Doctor Doom as that kind of thing, which I thought is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I was like, I do not want Iron Man, as a kind of villain thing, and like the possible things that will occur with like those interactions. But then Spooky was like saying, no, you're right. It is just him playing a normal Doom. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then like the alternative is that the real Doom comes in during the film and kills the Tony Stark Doom. So like there's lots of things I can still do with it. And at the end of the day, I wasn't that like annoyed by it, unless they do go down the route of it's a Tony Stark variant, and then I'll be. I think that's like the worst thing that they can do with this casting.
I kind of can't square it because the Russos did say he's playing Victor Von Doom. He's not playing Tony Stark. It's not another Doctor Doom. Like they did specify that. So Luke's right. I don't believe them because so you're telling me that this whole multiverse saga that you're ending with these movies, and you're introducing a new main villain to end this multiverse saga, is played by the same guy who plays Iron Man, and and the movies are going to be filled with multiverse shit, like actors returning, characters playing multiple actors playing different versions of the same character. These two movies are going to be filled with that, and you're telling me that the main guy isn't a part of that? I don't know. I feel like it's going to have to be tied into the story. It would just. Do you agree that it would be a super weird coincidence if he is the only person who is actually straight? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that he can be, and then the real Doom being played by a different person is kind of the way it'd work, rather. Like it's such a variant that it's a different person, rather than it being a variant played by the same one. That's how I'd be able to like accept that it works.
Wait, hang on. I don't think I'm quite understanding.
What?
I don't think I'm understanding what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying that in Avengers Doomsday, whatever the fuck they're calling it, RDJ's Doom dies and is replaced by the actual Doom, by a different actor from a different universe.
Oh, right.
And like that's how you make him work as a variant and still
he's-
as an original Doctor Doom.
Right.
He's getting paid for both movies, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that.
Is he? It's like.
Yeah. No, I feel like yeah, it's such a bold choice. I feel like they're all in on him. Like they're not going to reverse it in the second one or anything. Yeah, Fitzy, go for it.
Yeah, no, I pretty much agree with what Jaden said. Like, And like Emergency Awesome kind of had the same. The it's a different YouTube channel. Like he kind of
yeah.
said that like it'd be cool if they just keep him in the mask or whatever, so that you don't have an awkward moment where Thor or whoever is like looking at Doctor Doom's face and it's just Iron Man and like he can't reconcile.
And he doesn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, he doesn't acknowledge it. It'll just be like really weird.
Yeah.
So like to rectify that, you could just keep him in the mask, which is like makes sense because Doom, I think, always kind of has the mask in the comics, at least, not as much in the movies like the Fantastic Four movies and stuff. But that's like something that people don't like about the portrayal of Doctor Doom in the other Fantastic Four films. So but they probably won't do that though, because like they want to show RDJ on like as much as they can in trailers and posters and stuff. Is kind of what Emergency Awesome was saying. I would have thought so. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I do think they will do the multiverse thing, and it'll just kind of be that. But like I kind of am looking forward to it. It's kind of interesting.
It is very interesting.
I think I saw a comment saying it's somehow the most left field and most safe thing that Marvel could have done. Yeah, it just feels so bizarre. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I 100%. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, it's literally going back to like the safest core people you can for like $1 billion Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And like, it's all going to come down to the execution. I don't have strong opinions on it either way. I think it's definitely noteworthy and interesting, and fun to think about. But like, I'm not going to have. I'm very much just a wait and see. I'll see how they do it and stuff. I'm with Jane where I'm not into the multiverse thing. I think that's probably what they're going to do. I don't like that idea that much, but like, I'll still I'll be open minded to it if it's done in an interesting way. But that definitely sounds less interesting on paper. My what I would do personally, I mean, I don't even know if I would cast RDJ in the first place, but if I were given this where he's playing Doom, what I would do is where he's going to have a mask a lot, but I totally he's not going to wear a mask for 2 movies straight. Like, he's obviously we're going to see him. I think you do a thing where we maybe at the end of the first movie or something, where then he reveals his face, and it's a Colin Farrell Penguin situation where it's him, and they can do scenes with his face and everything, but he's so unrecognizable, like with his prosthetics and makeup and all that kind of shit, where it's like it's basically like no one can tell anyway. Yeah. I'd be into that if it was done well.
Yeah. Well, I think they're gonna have to make him look a little different, regardless if they kind of go all the way on the prosthetics.
They can pigment his skin again, like Tropic Thunder.
Right. Yeah. No, they'll definitely do something, but I'm talking about like, I don't want a fucked up, like, he'll probably have some sort of fucked up Robert Downey Jr. face, but I'm talking about like a full, like, he's literally he's so unrecognizable that like it's not even a thing where they have to challenge like the conundrum
for that, Zach.
Right. The conundrum you mentioned of like Chris Hemsworth going, Tony, like, he needs to be so unrecognizable where that's believable that could never happen, And I think if they do it to the level of Colin Farrell and the Penguin, that's totally acceptable. Like, where no character would even, it wouldn't even be a thing that that an audience would think, hang on, what?
Yeah. No, that'll be a cool idea. Yeah, they can pull that off.
Yeah.
They need to also lay on how RDJ plays it. Like, he can't play it like Iron Man at all, which is hard when you have this either kind of like a super smart kind of villain like this. It'd be an interesting thing for him to do.
That's the other interesting part where it's going to be, he's going to be really, really acting. Like, he's great as Tony Stark, because like so much of that is him.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to really deliver like a fantastic performance in a different way than we've seen in these movies. Have you guys saw the clip where he took off the mask?
Like a quick, one,
But like the clip where like he's on stage and they reveal
yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking awesome clip, by the way. But like, he just does the Tony Stark pose. Oh,
yeah.
He's like, can't help himself.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. I'm Dr. Doom, but it's still me, That was a great clip though, because it was just like the most. Imagine being in the room; you'd feel like you were having some sort of aneurysm.
Did you
like, what the fuck?
did you hear some of the people in the crowd like giving out their predictions? Like a couple of people did say RDJ in the crowd. I did hear
Really?
Jared Leto as well.
Jared Leto, yeah, right.
And there was a few other ones I heard. I can't recall, but like it was interesting hearing the crowd, specifically like the two RDJs that I heard, get it fucking right.
Yeah, how do you say that? Yeah, how do you know? I mean, mate, was there word going around earlier that day if you were there? Maybe, I don't know. I've got no fucking
Don't know.
I think there was.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. I mean, that would have been really cool being there because it's a situation like it's going to be someone huge, obviously. You know, if they're going to do that, he's going to have to step out and take a mask off. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Also, just on the Kang thing, I know no one really cares about Kang, but I think they're like replacing the actor. They're replacing Jonathan Majors, for like the start of Doomsday or something, and then Doom's just gonna like take over, kill all the Kangs or whatever. I think someone said that's what they might do.
That that wouldn't surprise me. That sounds pretty terrible, to be honest. They recast someone just for the opening scene of Doctor Doom. It's like the start of Infinity War where Thanos just comes.
Exactly.
Murks everyone.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of dumb, but sure. I guess that's okay. But I guess I don't know enough. I don't know enough about the story. Like, do you need to address Kang at this point? Like, I guess you might.
Well, yeah, kind of having him set up. Like the way they set him up within Loki and within Ant-Man alone.
I haven't seen Ant-Man. That's probably the main thing.
It probably does require an addressing or two.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Let's get into our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I watched The Host. Bong Joon-ho film. A monster movie. Yeah, so it's pretty great. Pretty great. You can definitely if you didn't know it was Bong Joon-ho, you'd probably just be able to tell just from the kind of the strong directing style and just the kind of the thematic similarities, I guess. Society be like that sometimes, yeah. But yeah, it was super strong stuff. It was really funny how kind of tense it is because the CG of the monster is actually just bad, there's kind of no way around it, but it's the design is cool enough and the filmmaking is strong enough to where it kind of doesn't matter. But yeah, for a monster film, it's funny that the CG is kind of so plain and obvious. But yeah, it's a really good movie. So yeah, check it out.
Interesting. Okay, so it's a Bong Joon-ho film. A terrible CG monster.
Yeah,
but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just trying to put that together in my mind. It sounds like an interesting combination, but okay, cool. Who? I assume I'm the last one to finish The Bear, right?
Yeah,
I finished it.
You guys smashed it. All right. We haven't talked about it. Do you mind if I talk about it? If we talk about it?
Talk about your fucking rating on Serialized. Yeah, let's discuss that.
I really want to talk about it with you guys. I want to get more. I also want to hear what you guys think. But overall it was consistent. It was consistently The Bear, which I think we'd probably all agree with. We're just on different levels of The Bear. Like there was a moment, probably halfway through the season, where I thought, "Oh, this might be my favorite season. Oh, this is really solid." And then I think I don't know, before or after, around somewhere around there, we get Io directing the Tina episode, which is a banger, absolute banger. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, okay, cool, we're on a roll here." And then we get the goddamn sugar giving birth episode, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, no, I'm good."
Yeah, I think that's one of the highest rated episodes, but I really didn't like that episode.
No, I wasn't into it. No, I appreciate Jamie Lee Curtis' total commitment to the role. She's delivers. You can't You can't challenge the technicality and the craft of the performance and all that. It's just such an annoying episode to watch, to be honest with you. But
Yeah. No, yeah.
that's basically it. And not even just because she's meant to be annoying. Like, I understand that, obviously, but like, even in the direction and the story and everything, it's just like there's just all these long pauses, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I don't know, like, it just, as an episode of television, I did not find it very compelling. And I don't know. I feel like it's trying to resonate and do all these, be emotional. I get it. I just didn't like it. And then the finale summed up like my thoughts on the bear overall. I think, where it's like, does really cool things, incredibly well made, awesome people turning up and giving killer performances. I love Olivia Colman and Will Poulter especially are fantastic. And then it just leaves me in a place where, like, oh, like, okay, I just don't care about how any of this progressed at all. Like, Kami, like, at what point is Kami not going to be the villain of, like, he's just the villain. He's just the villain, dude. Like, straight up. He refuses to grow in any way. It's weird.
That's the biggest, like, sin for the season for me, is that like nothing progresses, like, character-wise. Like, the restaurant progresses a little bit, but none of the characters change from start to end. Sydney's still in the same predicament. Kami's still who he is. Like, and Richie doesn't change, his kind of anything at all. Like, no one changes, and I think, like, that was, like, the biggest issue for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. And it's just weird where they're just in this perpetual state of setting up an arc for Carmen to leave the work, right? Like, that has to be the ending. There's no other way for this to go at this point. Like, how many times? But it's just sort of getting annoying at this point. Like, how many times does he have to be told, and does he have to realize? I still haven't. Maybe he hasn't realized yet. I feel like there's been so much self-reflection, and surely he's realized. I've got so many fucking montages where the obvious point is that this is toxic for him. You know what I mean? And he just doesn't.
I must be as oblivious as him, because I didn't think that's what it was trying to set up at all.
I feel, isn't that what this whole show is about?
I thought it was about overcoming it, not fucking submitting to it.
Oh, that's just as toxic. You're just as toxic as Kami, Jan. No, I don't think so. I think the whole thing has to be, he has to leave. He has to give it up. He can't let it go. Right?
No,
I feel like
that's shit. If that's how you're, like, reading it, then I think that's kind of part of your problem.
So what do you think then? He has to like, what, keep grinding until he finally overcomes his demons or something? Like, what? Like, what's that?
Like, what? How unsatisfying would it be for him to just fucking submit and quit, man?
Well, but he needs to go back to Claire. Like, Claire doesn't fit in with his life at the restaurant. It doesn't work.
So fuck Claire, man.
Can't you see that's clearly not the point of the show? Like, Claire's her whole thing, the whole season.
Claire's not what gave him clarity. Sydney is what gives him clarity. That's shown multiple times in season 2. When every time he's having a fucking spaz attack with his hands, he thinks of Sydney and he calms down. And Claire just makes him worse. It's okay, all right. It's setting up a Sydney thing, whether it ends up being romantic or whether it's just like a really intense friendship where, like, it's a complete trust thing. But, like, Sydney's meant to be his center.
But Sydney hates him.
For the moment, because he's not communicating, and that's the issue with the season, because nothing changed during the season. But, like, yeah, I think you're reading it wrong if you think that he, like, like, the whole thing is about him that needs to fucking quit, man.
I totally disagree. But it's okay. What was the point? Reading it your way, what's the point of Claire's role in the season? She's there all the time as this omnipresent figure that he's imagining.
Yeah, I think she was a mistake this season, because I think last season pretty clearly shows that, like, she's not meant to be there. Like, as great as she is, she's not meant to be there, because she doesn't. You're right, she doesn't fit in, and I thought that was something that they were meant to just be done away with at the end of that.
Okay.
And then just move forward. But they insist on keeping her there, and that's part of the reason why Kami doesn't grow. It's part of the reason why the restaurant, like, can't go as far as it does. Why Sydney's character can't change too much, or why anyone else can't, because everyone's grounded in her, But she shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Well, I kind of see Claire a different way, where Claire is just an idea, Claire is the opposite end of the spectrum of Kami's platonic ideal of, like, a perfect restaurant, like, they're both kind of toxic at the end, because, like, Claire's she's not like a super real person. She doesn't really, as you said, like, fit in with the other archetypes in the show. She's kind of she's kind of the manic pixie, like dream girl kind of thing. And she's a constant vision. She's not something that's like real for Kami. So it's, I guess it's finding it's about finding a balance, I guess, and not having these super high ideals of like the relationship side or the work side. But it doesn't, like, I do agree that it doesn't really, this season doesn't progress that, but he's just even more stuck between, like, he's just even more in his mind, in his own head by the end of the season, I guess.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's like he should quit or anything. I think that would, as Jane said, kind of be a pussy move. That would be unsatisfying.
Be a Jared Leto thing to do.
Right, but okay. Let's trace this to where we're writing, us three are writing the series finale of The Bear, right? If you guys are saying that it's more, which I think this is valid. If the series finale is something where, I'm not even saying it has to be a happy ending, but if we're taking Carmen's arc to its conclusion, if it's he is living a balanced lifestyle of working in the restaurant, having great relationship with his friends, having, whether it's clear or not, having a partner, and just being basically a happy dude being a chef, right? If that's the completion of his arc, like, as you guys say it, I personally think he has to leave. Like, I think that's all it is. Because we've done 3 seasons of this now.
He can leave the bear, but he can't leave the cooking world. Because like this season they talk a lot about legacy, right? So I could see him leaving the bear to Sydney, but then him going on to do his own thing.
Okay, that's fine. But like he goes and does it. He goes and he's like a fucking freelance chef, whatever. Goes
not a freelance chef, but he goes and opens up a new restaurant other side of the world or something like that to not compete with the bear, but to.
But what would be the point of opening a new restaurant? Like, he's just done that. Like, that would imply that the people are the problem.
But it's not like. But it's like it's.
I'm not saying that. I don't think he has to leave the food world. I'm saying he can't be the head chef running a restaurant. Like, that's clearly the problem.
But it isn't, because I think he ran that other restaurant, we're told, like, sufficiently enough to retain a star.
Like, which one?
Well, it's just kind of in an expedition. We don't see it, but like that restaurant that he was running prior to moving back to Chicago, he was running it well enough to keep a star, and that's why he's got such a kind of high acclaim.
Okay, but
so
does the show give?
Yeah,
no, definitely. Yeah. But does the show give the indication that he was happy doing that? Because it certainly doesn't give that to me.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, so I'm just firmly in this belief because of the progression we've had so far. If we have to get to a point where he's living a balanced lifestyle, right? I'd imagine he has to at least experience some of the other side of, like, wouldn't it make sense that he gives up first and then has to, like, if it's going the way you guys are seeing it more, where he has to give everything up first and then sort of gradually bring it back in a balanced way into his life? Like, because I don't see him in the state he's in right now. I don't see him just like being able to balance everything and just get it right from where he is.
I don't necessarily think that this whole balancing thing is exactly the conclusion that they should go for either, because that feels like a bit of a cop out. It feels too perfect.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think I think he still needs to be like anal about running a restaurant, but he just needs to be less anal about
it. Okay, but okay. I just feel like the show's given me no indication that he's on any, like, at this point, is the show going to go 10 seasons? Like where are we at in Carmen's journey?
Well, that's right the issue for the season. Yeah, like season 1 and 2 makes it seem like it could be a short thing, but season 3 makes it seem like a Walking Dead situation.
For real.
Yeah.
In terms of the arcs, I've just got no sense of placement as to where we're at in his journey right now. Like, if you told me, it could be 11 more seasons or 1 more season, but not in a good way, in my opinion. It's just confusing. I just found his whole every time we're within this season, I just found him like, he's clearly making, because the other characters around him, like, he's just making their life worse. Like, clearly Sydney, and like every interaction he has with Sydney, like his toxicity is clearly, everything that happens with her. It's just like, this guy's clearly the villain of the show, like, I just can't. He just refuses to grow, and I can't like him.
But that's why I'm like, this should it feels like half a season. Like, because I don't think he's meant to be a villain at all. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I think it should have been half a season where, like, they get over all this stuff, or they start to, and they start developing something more. Like everything you're describing as like a fatal flaw, kind of just feels like an oversight for this season to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess to me, like, you watched seasons 1 and 2 more recently, so like maybe you can remember them a bit better. But like for me, the whole thing just feels like a blur. I feel like Carmen's like basically always been like this. I know they've done stuff with the restaurant and stuff, but I don't feel like he's really done anything as a character this whole time. I know he's had his moments, but of like seeing the light and having some happier moments here and there. But like I don't know, like I don't really see any transformation that's happened. Or evolution in any capacity,
I mean, but yeah, I guess if they double down in season 4 and like kind of just make that the point, that would be that would work, because like the show like gives us changes to basically every other character in the show. I mean, Richie, and we have whole episodes just dedicated to like different members of the kitchen, and how their lives have kind of changed, and like the value they get from community and stuff like that. So I think it could really work if season 4 is just what you're describing, Zach, because like it would make it so that in season 3 what you're really realizing is like the stagnancy of Kami's mindset and his arc, I guess, which is, I think that's pretty awesome if they pull that off in season 4. Because like the show has this kind of underwriting theme of positivity, and well, like obviously the dark stuff is like primary, but like Kami tries to be positive in every kind of external angle, I guess. So it would be cool if that kind of the dark force kind of overrides that, and we I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that the other thing is that it doesn't make sense for him to leave after the whole show is about bringing everyone into his world. Because like you bring up a good point about the episodes of people like developing, but like those single episodes focused on people are all bringing him closer to his world. They show Richie understanding. It shows Sydney on her food journey coming in. It shows Tina coming into the world. It shows So like for Kami to then leave it at the end, like I guess it does work narratively in a way, but I just think I can't be satisfied with that,
But okay, I agree with you, Fitzy. If the show ends up being about like he just can't change, then I'm down with that. But then he's the villain, right? There's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
he's clearly the worst.
The villain,
And if that's true, that's cool. But like I'm just not yet convinced that that's what they're doing, and that might end up being the case. Like Jen, how would you feel about that?
Well, I think it'd be fine, but it wouldn't make sense at the same time because we're constantly showing him trying to be better than fucking Joel McHale's character, who's calling him one little bitch.
Yeah, so he becomes him.
He's trying, like it makes sense narratively to become your mentor, but then it doesn't make sense kind of meta wise because we're shown him so much trying to come out, I guess, of it.
Yeah,
and we're also showing him like I think the other thing that this season shows is that like his relationship under other bosses and stuff like that, where it's like really like kind of pleasant. So I guess that kind of maybe does go more towards your thing about leaving the head chef role and kind of being an underling to someone, I guess.
It's basically like Olivia Colman's like the angel on his shoulder, and the other guy's the devil.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but like I don't think it can go the middle way again in season 4. It definitely has to pick a side. But I think this season's still valuable for like the continued conflict, I guess, within Kami. I mean, I agree that it didn't really progress it, but at this point, it's probably like really good setup if they're going to make him a villain in season 4. Because I think it wouldn't work if they did that in season 3. I think you needed more time.
It would work for me.
Context. Yeah, you did say that, but I think for most people, because the show does have, as Jaden said, like Kami bringing so many people into like a positive space and stuff, and it does have this kind of positive angle about it, like with the legacy stuff and everything. I think the show, if it is going that angle, needs that extra time to develop the conflict within Kami, I guess.
Yeah, that would make sense. Well, how do we feel about Sydney then? Because like she should totally leave, right? Like, or is this a thing where I'm just on a totally different wavelength to Jaden?
No, I don't think she should leave. I think because
Okay,
the way I see it is just like she's meant to be there with Kami, and that this season just didn't do enough to remedy their relationship.
She totally breaks down at the end because of him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But that's yeah. I know. I might be completely off base here, but like I just don't see the villain thing. Like it can never be satisfying to me because like if the show ends with him being a villain, then you can't be happy with anyone who's at the restaurant with him. So then okay, so he's a villain and he leaves the restaurant, but then like I don't want him leaving the restaurant world because that's not satisfying to me. It like just that side of the thing won't be satisfying to me.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But like it won't be satisfying for the show overall, or for just like what you want from Kami.
Just for me, probably not like the show might function and might make the whole show like elevated like even more, but like for me, it just it'd be tanking it. Yeah.
But is that like in terms of what you want to see from Kami, I guess, or is it like just what
I just think from like what I want to see in Kami, but also from what I feel like the show is trying to do as well. I just feel like it'd be a betrayal of what they've set up.
Yeah.
Which I like every time you guys make points, I understand it, and I think like there is definitely cases for those points. So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe they are doing what you were saying, but like that's kind of psyching me out of some of the things as well.
Yeah,
because I definitely understand your sides when you argue it, but yeah, I just can't support
them.
It's like you say with it becoming a Walking Dead thing. Like, how many seasons do we see this going? Like,
yeah.
I've just got no earthly idea. The whole show has like in my opinion, just like the nature of what the show is and how well made it is and everything. Like, just on a production level, screams short.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't know if they see it the same way. I imagine.
Well, had this season evolved character a little bit more, I could easily see season 4 being the end. But because of how it is, like I don't see ending next season.
Yeah, so you don't see it. It says I still wouldn't be surprised either way if they come out and said season 4 is our last. I wouldn't be like I've just got no sense of direction, like I said. So like I wouldn't be shocked either. I guess. Are you googling if they've said that, Fitzy? I'm not sure. I've got no clue.
I don't know.
I think it's pretty big, so I wouldn't be surprised if they want to, I don't know, keep it going. Although networks have become better and the streamers have become better about that. They usually don't. That whole Walking Dead effect is sort of a thing of the past, I think. Shows usually end at about the right time these days, in my opinion. Unless you're Game of Thrones where you ended too early. But anyway. Jaden, sorry, we haven't even done your highlight.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to skip it. We've got long enough. Yeah.
No, you can give a highlight.
No.
What do you mean?
No, we'll just skip it.
But like, are you trying to be courteous, or are you actually not got a highlight?
No. Like I'm like we can just go past it. It's all right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I want to hear about it after the show, though. Okay. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is your favorite child actor? That wasn't what it was. It was, what is your favorite child acting performance in a film? But you get the gist. Well, Dr. Luke said Fitzy in the Disney Channel original How to Start a Boy Band. Which never saw that one coming. I think, in Luke's defense, he wrote that 32 minutes after the episode came out.
Yeah, he told me he wrote that answer before like watching the episode at all. Yeah.
Yep. So we saw that one coming for sure. Yeah. But there it is. It's a pisser. Kevin said Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. And that one's mentioned again. Leanne also says the best child acting performance in a film, in my opinion, are the best ones are Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver. Is she a child?
Oh yeah.
Is she that young? Oh my god, that's disturbing.
Mm.
I mean that's the point. But also Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. It's just totally interesting. My dog just got over me there. Felix Cameron in Boy Swallows Universe. He was definitely the best part of that show, by the way. And Abigail. Wait, what? Abigail Breslin for No Reservations. But she's also the chick in Little Miss Sunshine, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great in that. I haven't seen that movie, but she's great in that. So I'll take your word for it, Leanne. That's good. Okay. Good Macaulay Culkin shout-outs. Andy said, some honourable mentions are Kihei Kwan. Wait, is that how you say that guy's name? I can't remember. Sorry. From the Temple of Doom. I hope that's a joke. Hinata Haragi from Monster. And Liam Fitz from The Boy Who Lived in the Graveyard. Wow, another one. Liam Fitz getting another shout out there. Wow.
For multiple roles as well. It's
vast, impressive filmography, you know.
Yeah.
My favourite leading performance from a child actor is Jean-Pierre Liord as Antoine Doinel. Oh, fuck me. From The 400 Blows.
Wow.
His audition tape speaks for itself. The character is 14 years old, so I hope it counts. Yeah, I think you're right on that line, but I think so. I've mentioned the Antoine Doinel series. I'm doing that wrong. Fitzy, help me.
Donnell, I think. Antoine Donnell.
Donnell?
Well, anytime it's like OI in French, it's usually a wa. Like Benoit.
Oh, yeah, Donnell?
You know?
Donnell? Okay.
Donnell, yeah.
I could tell you, I wasn't sure what it was, but Doinel was definitely not it. I knew that. I've mentioned the Antoine Doinel series before on this channel, so I won't delve into it. But that kid grew up to be the most charming and quirky French actor from his generation. I hear people say Timothée Chalamet is like this generation's version of Jean-Pierre Liord, but I must disagree with those fangirls and Dr. Luke. My favourite supporting performance from a child actor is Milo Machado Grainer from Anatomy of a Fall. Milo, you know. He plays a blind kid, which some of you guys might not know, and it was a particularly smooth performance too. Oh, wait, so he's not blind, that kid? Wow, that is good, actually. The character is 14 years old, so I think it counts. I have no idea what he'll do in the future, but I hope he's not going to be overrated like Dr. Luke's favourite actor, Timothée Chalamet. Wow, didn't realise everyone was going to take the chance to shit on Timothy. Damn, okay. Okay, some good selections there. It's funny, like, I understand Macaulay Culkin's iconic in Home Alone, but, like, I don't, and I've got nothing against it. I wouldn't think of it as, like, a killer performance necessarily, but maybe I am being a bit close-minded on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can shit on Macaulay.
I don't want to comment, actually.
Okay. No, that's all good. Fitzy, what's your pick? What are some of your picks if you have multiple?
Yeah, well, I'll agree with Abigail Breslin being a good child actor. She was in a little-known film called Keen, which is a really fantastic film about just like schizophrenia, like mental illness, kind of stuff, set in New York. And it's got like Damian Lewis, the Billions guy. And it's like really, it's just really like rooted in his kind of perspective, but at the same time, it's kind of, I don't know. The film's really interesting because you like, it's rooted in his perspective, but you also have like this distance between them that's like ever present, but sometimes it like breaks through that. I don't know. It's a cool film. But that's not my answer. My answer is, oh shit. I don't know if Andy said this person because okay, my answer is Soya Kurokawa, who is one of the child actors in Monster. He might have said
Hinata Haragi from Monster.
Okay, that might have been the other kid, but
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. So like, I think I talked about Monster last year probably, but it's like one of those like Rashomon type films where you get multiple perspectives, and the whole point of the film is that the villain kind of changes with each perspective you get. and the whole like the central question of the film is like, who is the monster? You know, who is the actual bad guy? And like this kid, who's probably the main character of the film, I guess. I mean, he's the son of the mother character, who's also like a main character. He like plays it really well, where you know he has this ambivalence about his performance, where you don't really know fully how he feels about things, and he just plays perfectly into the kind of the moral like gray area that the story is trying to kind of communicate. So like yeah, he's fantastic, and he like you just get a whole range of emotions from, I guess, as the film progresses. But it maintains that kind of blank slate-ness, where you don't know fully how to feel about the character. So he just plays perfectly into the film's kind of philosophy and what the film's trying to do. So yeah, he was really fantastic. He's like right on the verge of being a child actor, as we kind of discussed in the roles last week. He's like 13 or 12, I think, when they were making it. But yeah,
awesome. Okay, that's strong. Jaden, what about you?
I wrote down a bit of a list, but then I had to cross out quite a few because the list did get big. No, I'll shout out the FNAF person first because I have been vocal about that being a great performance. That was Piper Rubio. I got like Stand By Me. How old are they? Are they kids?
Oh, they count.
Teens?
Yeah,
they count.
They were fantastic, especially I think the one with the glasses was great.
Hang on, they're like famous though. Like who? Which one?
Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah,
I think he was the one that I liked the most. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. McKenna Grace is great. She appeared a few times on the list, but I narrowed it down to Gifted because I guess she was probably young then. I got Angori Rice as a shout for These Final Hours. Give it a little Australian thing there. And then I got a real like underground one, which is Callum Truman and Leo Halstead in a short film called The Truants. This is a short film I found quite a few years ago by this guy called Aaron Dunleavy. And it is brilliant. It is stuck so much into my mind. It is incredible, and like the kids in it are, like it's a very understated kind of thing, but it kind of needs to be for what it is, and those two are great in there, but the short film is better as well. But yeah, that's my list.
Nice, that's a good list. Appreciate you coming in with the real, expert. Your short films,
No, I mean it's not. It's just one random one I found.
Yeah, but it's good. You're like, what's the word? You're like fucking. You get around. You know what I mean? You're like an expert. You're like a real critic. You actually know what you're talking about. You know shit that we don't know.
Well, I don't know the Asian boys that he mentioned, but
yeah, neither do I. But they sound cool. For me, I mean, I can't go past Saoirse Ronan in Atonement. I can't go past. Spencer Treat Clark in Unbreakable is fantastic, by the way. Like, I feel like he's got that, like, I think it's because it existed at the same time as Haley Joel Osment, who's also terrific in everything. So he existed like in that same period of time. Also did the M. Night film like right after Sixth Sense. So I feel like they just sort of occupy the same space in people's brains. Well, I mean, in mine, I'm like, is that Haley Joel Osment? When I started rewatching Unbreakable, and it's like, no, it's not the same kid. And this kid's great too. So shout out to him. And I don't know if you guys have seen the film I Am Sam. I don't know if that like it's the I watched that film earlier this year for the first time, and I'm like, I feel like this film, like just watching it, would get you cancelled today. I don't even know.
Is that
with the whole?
Is that Sean Penn?
Sean Penn playing a challenge person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a great movie in my opinion, and Dakota Fanning is killer.
Yeah, so Dakota Fanning was better as a child. And like her acting was better as a child.
Her acting was very good as a child. Wait, I haven't really seen her in anything. Have I seen her in
I saw
stuff as an
her.
adult? Have you?
She was in Ripley,
Oh,
and she was kind of one of the more disappointing parts of Ripley for me because
He
like,
was in, yeah.
okay.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
I didn't want to explain what. It's fine.
No, that's right.
So
No.
what, you'd give the edge to Elle as an adult?
Oh, yeah. She was great in like the Neon Demon and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I saw a lot of other people saying Anna Paquin in the piano. I just wanted to bring back up the piano. It's like Jane can do that. That was a common answer I saw. Just so you know.
Yeah. No.
Not as good as our answers though. You know.
Mm.
Any bringing up the Anatomy of a Fall kid, that is a killer one though. I would have said that if he didn't steal it. That's Milo's great for sure. I literally didn't even know he wasn't blind. I don't know. I just was his performance so good. I just assumed he must be blind. Like I don't know. I feel like in movies these days they often just cast blind people and stuff. So I just didn't even think of it. But yeah, that's cool. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, we're opening a can of worms. The specific question we'll be asking you is: Robert Downey Jr. is reportedly being paid $80+ million for his role as Doctor Doom. Are A-list Hollywood actors paid too much money? Discuss.
Well, it
Loaded?
shouldn't be You should just state it and then just say discuss. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's a question of the week. I feel like it has to be a question.
No, but the discuss is the question. You know.
All right. Okay.
Because that's how the essay questions are formatted. You know, in high school. And in
Okay.
uni.
But what? Okay. So like the obvious direction to take that then would be the opening about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. And
Or you could say,
Hollywood actors
do you
are paid
agree?
too much money. Discuss. Or do you
Or
agree?
do you agree and discuss or something like that?
Hollywood actors are paid too much money. Do you agree? But then, like, what if I just took it in the total opposite? What if I just went, RDJ is reportedly being paid $80+ million for Doctor Doom. A-list Hollywood actors aren't paid enough. Do you agree?
Yeah, you do.
Well, essays would still kind of definitely position that way.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, not to spoil next week, but $80+ million, like, come on, give the guy, he deserves more, you know? He's a huge draw. Okay. Before we go, we have an Instagram poll. Nominees to announce. Jaden looks confident. He looks ready, which scares me. But it's he and I.
You mentioning the streaming service earlier scares me.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why? What do you think?
Because I'm like, for you to pick something from iView, I mean, like, it has to be really special.
Mm.
It is really special. Because the film I'm nominating is Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners.
No.
Why?
Because it's fucking killer. What do you mean?
Why do we need to do Prisoners? What?
What?
Okay,
Why not? We
no,
got
it's
it.
fine.
Like, aren't we on the arc to completing Denis' filmography too?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why are you guys disappointed with this pick?
Because there's
like Prisoners?
thousands of films out there, you know.
Don't you like Prisoners?
Yeah, but like pick a fun, like something we haven't seen. That's fine.
I'll pick fucking Eden. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it won, so fuck you.
And actually, wasn't a bad movie. Anyway, all right, Jaden.
I'll be nominating. This probably might get a grain out of you two as well. It's funny. It was actually mentioned earlier. If that gives you any clues, what did you mention earlier?
I don't remember what I had for breakfast, mate. What's going on?
I'm nominating Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay, all right. That's an interesting poll. I like that poll. Okay. Two films that people know.
That's like the least interesting poll. Like,
get fucked because it's not Scooby-Doo Zombie
That's
Island.
a good poll.
Haven't we picked both of those films before?
Moulin Rouge has not been picked, and Prisoners, I don't think so.
I feel like I remember writing Moulin Rouge in the fucking the poll.
Oh, you probably know better, to be honest.
Oh, actually, maybe it has. Now that you said that you wrote it, I'm like, maybe it did.
I feel like I remember that, but
that's a good poll though, because of like how juxtaposed they are. I like it. People really get to choose their vibe.
Guys, this is what
Gets
happens
his
when
vote.
you don't let Liam win the poll. That the choices just go down.
What, you can't fucking pick Gross Point Blank? Can't fucking pick
Yeah, that's
what
a
other
great pick.
bullshit you won with?
Maybe we'll get more than 6 votes this time. Wow, that's terrible.
6
Wow.
votes, 4 of them from Liam.
I didn't do that.
Oh god. I actually like that because I'd be happy to watch either. That's actually fine. Okay. Those are your 2 options. So go to our Instagram page and check out our stories sometime within 24 hours after this episode goes live to cast your vote. Okay. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Fitzy, what are you doing next week?
Me? What am I doing?
I mean, you're probably doing a few things, but like, what's the movie?
We're doing Good Night, Good Luck, and Good Night and Good Luck. Good Night and Good Luck. Yeah. Which is it's on Prime, I think. Yeah.
No, it's on Stan and SBS.
Yeah, Stan. It's on Stan and SBS, guys. Which is a George Clooney directed movie about some TV reporter who goes through rallies against McCarthyism, so yep, social themes and stuff. So, yeah, should be good. It's Jaden and Liam only.
Yep.
So
yeah, I boycott this one because communism came up, so I'm out. All right, that's it. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.